Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to the Flavors and Knowledge podcast. We are sharing a new feature that concentrates on health, wellness, and nutrition. I am your host, Noah Mitchell, and today we'll begin with Chapter 1, You Are What You Eat, my 50 years of feeding people, and what I learned about food and the human body. I was 17 years old the first time I stood at a professional stove. It was a small trattoria in Providence, Rhode Island, barely 12 tables, a kitchen the size of a large closet, and a chef named Marco who communicated almost entirely through grunts and hand gestures. I spoke Italian. He didn't speak much English, but food, I discovered very quickly, is its own language. And in the 50 years that followed, it became the language I would spend my life learning to speak fluently. In that half-century, through restaurant kitchens, culinary schools, nutrition research, and thousands of conversations with doctors, farmers, scientists, and home cooks, the single most important thing I came to understand is also the simplest. What you put into your body shapes everything about who you are, how you feel, how you think, and how you grow. The old saying is not a cliché. It is a biological fact. You are quite literally what you eat. When I was young, nobody talked about nutrition in the way we do now. In the kitchens where I trained, food was about pleasure, tradition, and craft. We cooked from instinct and from memory. My grandmother never read a nutrition label in her life, and yet she fed her family with an instinctive wisdom that modern science has spent decades trying to catch up with. She served vegetables every single meal. She used olive oil without guilt. She cooked dried beans twice a week and called it Tuesday. She didn't know the words antioxidant or omega-3. But she understood in a deep and ancient way that certain foods made people strong and other foods made them weak. It wasn't until I began studying nutrition seriously in my 30s, sitting in lectures and reading research while running a restaurant during the day, that I understood the machinery behind what my grandmother already knew by feel. Food is not just fuel. It is information. Every bite you take sends a message to your cells, your hormones, your immune system, and your brain. Protein doesn't just fill you up, it builds and repairs the muscle fibers that let you run, climb, lift, and grow. Carbohydrates aren't the enemy. Complex carbohydrates from whole grains and vegetables are the primary energy source for your brain, which consumes more energy than any other organ in your body. Fats from sources like olive oil, avocado, and nuts support brain development and help your body absorb the fat-soluble vitamins, D, E, and K, that keep your vision sharp, your bones strong, and your immune system alert. I have watched, across 50 years of cooking for people, what a difference real food makes. I have seen children in my cooking classes transform their concentration and energy within weeks of changing what they eat for breakfast. I have seen athletes reach new levels of performance simply by understanding that recovery begins on the plate. I have seen elderly people in our neighborhood food programs find new vitality when we started serving them meals built around whole ingredients rather than processed convenience food. One of my greatest frustrations as a chef and as someone who cares deeply about nutrition is how complicated we have made something that is fundamentally simple. The food industry has spent billions of dollars convincing people, and especially children, that nutrition is confusing, that you need special products, special powders, special bars to be healthy. It isn't true. The most nutritious diet in the world is also among the most straightforward. Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, good fats, quality proteins, and water. Foods that grew from the earth, swam in the sea, or lived on a farm. Foods your great-grandmother would recognize. When I walk through a kitchen with young people, I always tell them, respect what food does for you, not in a fearful way, not in the obsessive way that leads to anxiety about every ingredient, but in the way you'd respect any powerful and beautiful thing. A great piece of music, a well-crafted sentence, a carefully tended garden, these things took patience, skill, and care to create. Your body deserves food created with the same intention. The recipes were built around this basic philosophy. They are not complicated, they are not expensive, they don't require equipment beyond what is in most home kitchens, but each one is designed to do something specific for your body to nourish your muscles, support your brain, strengthen your immune system, or simply give you the steady, clean energy to get through a long school day without crashing. Every ingredient was chosen on purpose, and the purpose always is you, your growth, your strength, your health, your future. That is what cooking is really about. That is what it has always been about. After 50 years in kitchens, I am more certain of that than I am of anything else. Ultimately, dear followers, thanks for listening and the privilege of your time. In conclusion, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for joining us on today's journey through flavor and discovery. You'll find all the relevant links in the show notes, including details on our cooking classes, the full notes and recipes from this episode, and our calendar for culinary tourism tour. Be sure to subscribe to our free newsletter to stay connected and informed. Remember to taste thoughtfully, cook with passion, and continue exploring the boundless world of food. Subscribe for more, share with a fellow food enthusiast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep your eyes on the fire and stay curious. The content for this episode is written by Chef Walter and produced by Simval Media, USA.